Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. Yes, it's Wednesday. New album review day here on the channel. We've got a couple of them for you today, so stay tuned for more after this one. This is it's been out for a little while. Obviously, usually every January, I play catch-up on the stuff that came out in the latter part of the year, or even whenever this one actually was released back in April of last year. So sometimes you don't get the stuff till later on, or maybe you have them and it just takes you a few months to kind of listen to them and get acquainted with them when you've got stacks of new things like I do. Sometimes that happens, and it is the case for this particular one, which I know made a lot of people's best of lists for 2021. Didn't make mine because I unfortunately didn't start listening to it till the last couple of weeks. Better late than never, I always say. So here we are on January 5th, and we're finally getting to it. The seventh album from French heavy metal act Gojira Fortitude. Gojira, of course, also Japanese for Godzilla, right? Gojira. This, like I says, their seventh album. It follows their album Magma from 2016. 5 years in between albums. That's kind of, well, I guess that's not too, Terra Incognita was their debut. That was released in 2001. The Link came out in 2003. From Mars to Ceres 2005. So they're going about 2 years in between. The Way of All Flesh was 2008. There's three. Les Enfants Sauvages came out in 2012. So that's 4 years. Magma, 4 years in 2016. So 5 years between that and Fortitude. As with all the Gojira albums, quite good. A band that they're a metal band, obviously, but kind of hard to classify. They started out more as like a kind of somewhat technical death metal band, but not too technical. Big on groove and atmosphere, but also some really, impressive, heavy, and at times technical riffing, fluctuating between the kind of growly vocals and the more mid-range kind of gruff and oftentimes clean vocals. They still kind of do that. I think I'm going to use a term that my colleague on In the Prog Seat, Chuck Alvarez, uses to describe certain bands. And I say that over the last couple of albums, and maybe specifically this one, Gojira kind of sound like a cosmic metal band. And I know there is no term called cosmic metal, but when I listen to Fortitude, it just sounds cosmic and spacey to me. Sure, there are, and I've heard this from a couple people, and I know Butch Jones talked about this quite a bit on our end of the year favorite album show that we did on Hudson Valley Squares. He talked about how there might be a couple too many mellow, kind of spacey, interlude pieces on here, which kind of offset the big, heavy, more brutal tracks. And while I would agree with that to an extent, there might be a couple of them. I think it's Newfound. I'm pretty sure is one of them. And there's one or two others that kind of they're kind of spacey. They kind of meander a little bit. Got more of the clean vocals and don't feature all the big, heavy kind of crazy riffing that this band generally does. But I don't mind them actually, and I think it adds a little variety to the album. What I love about this band, I think their riffs are terrific. I love this big stop-start riffing with the big bass and drum, the bottom end behind it, and those pick scrapes and all the all those weird noises that they make. I think are terrific. I love and let me kind of give you the players and stuff in the band. I'm usually terrible with their names here, but we've got. And I'll probably butcher them, right, because these are all French names, but I'll do the best I can. Joe Duplantier, all right, he's your lead vocalist, also plays guitar. Christian Andrew on lead guitar. Jean-Michel Labadie on bass guitar. And Mario Duplantier on drums, brother of Joe, obviously. And I think Joe's vocals are really good. They're not too death metal-y, for those of you who don't like growling vocals. They're just more kind of really deep, gruff type things. But there's some just kick-ass songs on here. Born on For One Thing and Amazonia are terrific. Sphinx is really good. You got the title track, which I like a lot. Another World, Into the Storm. And the heavy tracks on here are just bulldozingly heavy. which I really like a lot. I love the artwork. And let's, you know what I usually do at the start of all these episodes is I kind of show you the CD. I just was so excited to talk about this because you know, I hate these like holdovers that I get too late. But like I said, it's better late than never. All right, you got lyrics, obviously, and some drawings and things like that. No pictures of the guys. This, oh, there we go. Sorry, I forgot this in the back. There they are right there. I happen to think that Gojira are one of the more unique metal bands out there. They don't sound like anybody else. Even through, and I was listening to them pretty early on. I don't think any of their albums, you know, they don't sound like Opeth. They don't sound like Mastodon. They don't sound like Death. They don't. They kind of have their own thing going on, and really, on this album, you really hear the uniqueness of this band. And I think them throwing in all sorts of different elements and adding that kind of like spaciness to their music, I think really helps. And this is a terrific record. I mean, this is really, really good. This would have probably easily made my top 30 had I just gotten to this in time last year. I'm really enjoying this quite a bit. And I think you will too if you haven't heard it. So, you know, it's hard for me to say how it ranks in their catalog, because they've got some really strong albums. I mean, for me, I don't know. From Mars to Sirius, for me, is probably always going to be my favorite Gojira album. But, you know, The Way of All Flesh is great. Magma's great. L'Enfant Sauvage is really good. The first two are really good. So, you know, the first two are obviously heavier and more extreme than some of the latter stuff. But this is really good. This is easy a 4 or a 4.5 out of 5 star for me. Like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to it. So, but I did want to pop up a review because I don't want it to get too far into January, because we're going to be moving on to 2022 things over the next couple of weeks. So, right now, for probably today and next week and maybe the week after, we'll be just kind of finishing up stuff from late 2021 that we didn't get to until we move into the you know, the actual 2022 releases. So there you have it, Fortitude from Gojira. That is your review for this episode. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell. We also have the link to our Ko-Fi page below for channel donations, and the link to our merch page where you can get all sorts of Sea Tranquility stuff. That's all located below. So please go check that out as well. And we'll see you real soon here on Sea Tranquility. I am Pete. Take care. Bye-bye.